going on, everyone? Welcome back to Plus Added Time here on Project Dits. As always, I am Nathan. Hi, Darragh. We still have a
hello. Yeah, sorry if I have just rolled out of bed look. I've been made aware of apparently, which is fair.
Yeah, I need to stress hairdressers aren't open in Ireland yet.
Not for
Before people
another
start complaining.
2 or 3 years, I don't think. Not at the rate we're going at. You've finally been let out of the house, not not like prison or something.
Yeah, I've been doing this from prison. Yeah, I'm allowed to do things, which is nice. I can go to a shop. I can have a
you're
beer.
doing like French, and you're doing like your oral lesson in French, and you have to talk to the describing yourself what you like to do. That's exactly what they hear. Yeah,
But
I
yeah,
like going to the shops.
yeah, I get to go to CEX is open again,
Oh,
so I get to go
very
look at
exciting.
video games I'm not going to buy.
That's usually where I get my like obscure Liverpool DVDs, and then just read up on weird, pointless knowledge.
Buy Liverpool DVDs.
Yeah,
Shambolic.
I have a collection. I have to show them at some point.
You should start watching one a week and then just reviewing it for everyone.
This is the 2007-8 season where we did absolutely nothing.
Should we start just watching the football years on Sky?
It's not a bad choice. That'd be a good show.
I bet there's already a podcast that does that.
Reviewing Premier League years. I'd love to do that. That'd be like a dream.
That's hilarious, isn't it? That was the ultimate. It would be like you're giving up your entire day to watch like Super Sunday, even though it's like Burnley against West Brom or something.
Super.
And then you start at 10 a.m. when like Premier League years 05-06 is on. And that's like your build up.
Oh yeah, it's good. It's a very good show. I love that show. I think everyone's seen it a million times.
Oh yeah, we've seen every single one, every single time.
Yeah.
But then we're still surprised when John Joe Shelby scores from the halfway line.
If you haven't seen Jussi Jääskeläinen being penalised for the 6-second rule in the 01-02 season, you haven't lived. The way I judge things.
So I did something amazing on career mode earlier today.
Turned on the console.
Yeah, turned it on. Went into career mode. Realised on my Man United career, on to my third season, gets to January. Dean Henderson, my number one, goes down injured.
Ooh.
Up steps Jim Harrison, who's a youth keeper that I bought through, rated 83. So
He's not a real.
No, he's not real.
No, okay.
No, he's not real. But obviously, cock up in my squad didn't have a third keeper. I sold Joel Pereira. I'd sold Romero. I had Lee Grant had retired. So up steps, beautiful January signing, free agent, Artur Boric.
Ooh.
42 years old at the time.
Wow.
Yeah, signed him on a 2-year deal.
What's his overall at?
67.
Oh Lord.
Well, I'm trying to do like part of my career mode things. I've got to do like half realistic because I could have obviously gone out and just bought Oblak and been like, done.
Yeah, no, I get what you mean. Yeah.
But I thought that was a good. What's your most obscure signing you can think of on career mode?
What, me?
Yeah.
I remember back in like FIFA 18, it was like there were literally no limits to who you could sign. There was none of this. The player doesn't think your league is competitive enough, so you'd be in the championship with like Wolves, and you'd be able to sign Gigi Buffon for free because he's like that old. His value is like so low. Get him on a free transfer all the time, and he's like 88, I think, in that game.
Well, you can do that this January on this FIFA because Messi's contract's obviously up. So like every January rolls around, you can just be like, I'll just get him on a pre-agreement.
I was I was at Newcastle for a few seasons on one of mine. I went to Bayern Munich, and I was trying to get someone like, I don't know, maybe like Varane, someone like that. Or no, it was De Ligt. That's who it was. It was De Ligt from Juve, and I was Bayern Munich, and it said the player does not think your league is competitive enough.
To be fair, he's not wrong.
It's not, but Bayern Munich.
To be fair to the guy, he's got a point.
It's Bayern Munich, not Burton Albion. No offense to all the Burton Albion fans.
I mean,
the ultras will be after me.
More competitive than the Bundesliga. I don't know what league Burton Albion are in. No offense, but
they're in the championship. At like 3 or 4 seasons ago. They're probably not anymore. They were the smallest team in the championship, like how Eibar are like the smallest team in La Liga, aren't they?
Yeah, they're tiny. But
Yeah.
speaking of Bayern, that segues us into things that aren't obscure career mode.
That wasn't even planned.
Yeah, that wasn't even planned. I just suddenly thought of it. I was like, wait, I was meant to tell you. Um, Champions League this week. Bayern Munich are out. Champions are gone.
Yeah.
Yep. Everyone praised the way that they played and the match itself, except for Bayern Munich fan and Conventional 9 podcaster Rahul, who called Bayern Munich one-dimensional.
I think this is my new favorite segment, just hearing the sound bites
The sound
from your mate every week.
Fine, he doesn't listen or watch this podcast, so but there you go, guys.
No one does.
It was a cracking game of football, but unfortunately, Bayern without Lewandowski they were a bit blunt up front when they got Choupo-Moting.
Yeah, and like
who did score.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, he got two in the 2 legs, didn't he?
Which is apparently more Champions League. He's got more Champions League goals than he scored goals for Stoke.
Oh, really?
Something like that. Something ridiculous like
I
that.
love that. I think there's another one of them. It's like Shola Amiobi has more European goals than Sunderland. Something like that.
Sunderland ever played European football?
They won the FA Cup in the 70s, so probably a UEFA Cup run. I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you what happened.
When we say UEFA Cup run.
They were there. They were made up the
Is
numbers.
it like when Everton lost in Champions League qualifying?
I love that. They finished fourth. What did they do? They finished fourth and then they lost the playoff round. I can't remember who it was against.
Was it Valencia or something? But it was like a really good Valencia side that they had to play or something like that. It was definitely a La Liga side, and they came up like it was when fourth place didn't automatically get in, so they ended up there was actually good teams in qualifying for once.
And we had to. What I found weird is we won the Champions League the season before and finished fifth in the league. We still had to go through like 4 rounds of qualifiers, which I thought is the champions. You just automatically qualify.
Yeah. Well, I guess you're not the champion. You're not a champion of your league, and it's called the Champions League.
I mean, I felt like Ajax or Celtic having to go away to FPK Kaunas in Lithuania and TNS in Wales.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
But yeah, Bayern are out. It really opens up kind of the floodgates, because for a while I think everyone thought they were pretty much nailed on to make a good run to the final again. They were having a good season, but out the cup, the German Cup, now at the Champions League, down to just they're obviously going to win the league, but like that's a given.
I hope so.
But can PSG finally win it, do you think?
You know, I sort of feel Real Madrid are just gonna end up winning it, and it's not gonna be as exciting as we think. But I think the PSG City game should be really good. I think whoever wins that has a pretty good chance, but I'd still put my money on Real.
It's funny that it's Chelsea, City, Real Madrid, and PSG left. So everyone on Twitter was like kind of reluctantly supporting Real Madrid suddenly. Like, which is fair. Like, I don't want PSG to win it. I don't want. No,
I don't know.
I
kind of
find the Neymar too annoying. And if Ander Herrera wins the fucking Champions League,
oh, that's going to be one of them. It's going to be one of them. You know how like when all the good players left Arsenal, they went on to win Premier Leagues. It's going to be Lukaku with Serie A and Herrera with the Champions League, and Ole like head and hands. It's going to be one of them memes.
No, he's going to have the Europa League. Held up high. Held up high. But
green style.
You saying Ollie put no effort in? How dare you? But yeah, I don't want City to win, obviously. I don't want Chelsea to win, obviously, because they're Premier League. City, obviously, because they're not United, but Chelsea, I just don't want a Premier League side to win a European trophy that isn't United. And I think people that do, because they're like, oh, we want to see the Premier League winning things. I think you people are weird.
I've never understood that. I like seeing the English teams do well. I don't.
I don't at all.
I like seeing you go out to minnows in the group stages.
I genuinely, even though I'm a United fan, once Cavani scored last night, I immediately flipped over to Arsenal, hoping to watch them get embarrassed. Then they scored, and I flipped back, so I was like, bloody hell.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, immediately flip back. But yeah, I'm the same as you. I don't want to see Liverpool
No.
do anything good.
Like, that's completely fair. Like, when United played Chelsea in the Champions League final last time, I'm a bit young to remember it exactly, but I would have hated that. I would have hated every minute of that.
Yeah, well, it was the same when Liverpool played Spurs. Everyone was on there like, "Oh, it's great for the Premier League," and you're like, "Yeah, it is," but I don't want it to happen. Like,
I love how people were saying this is the weakest Premier League we've ever had. The 4 European finalists that season were all Premier League teams.
yeah, exactly. It was Chelsea, Arsenal in Europa League, and then Liverpool, Spurs
I
in the
loved it. To
Champions
be
League
fair,
final.
that Chelsea Arsenal Europa League final was amazing. The
That
meltdown.
that's what's going to happen, Arsenal, if you reach the Europa League final. So I would just lose to Villarreal and save yourself.
They've been. I miss Unai Emery.
Villarreal, they're having a really mixed season. For a while, they were right up there. It was quite a weird start to the Liga season because Atletico went on that massive run and went miles ahead, which they have absolutely melted down now, like into near nothingness. But it was Sociedad and Villarreal were
Yes,
pushing them
yeah.
for about, I don't know, for half the season, just less than half the season. Well,
Uh,
they've gone off the rails a little bit lately, but
Yeah, it felt like we were talking about it every week. There was just so many teams up there, and Barca and Real just looked kind of done. Real lost in the who was it they lost in the Champions League? I know it's the Champions League, but there was some weird
oh,
defeat. It was like
yeah,
Lokomotiv Moscow or someone like that.
I can't remember now
I'm
off
probably
the top of my
completely
head,
wrong.
but yeah, in their group game, they lost the first two games, but then won the next four, so it was like they they were done.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean, I want Real Madrid to win. I think City and PSG though are probably going to be the final. Oh no, they're the semi-final,
what?
aren't they?
No,
No,
they
no, no.
can't be.
No, it's whoever wins out of that game is probably going to win it. Like,
To be fair, I think if I had my choice, I wouldn't mind watching PSG win. I'd like to see Kylian Mbappe with the Champions League. That's just me.
I will be if Ander Herrera misses the final, then I'll be happy for PSG to win.
You know he's gonna still go full kit.
He definitely would. Like, I mean, a little bit mean to him. He's a decent player, but
I
like,
used to hate playing against him.
he's a proper. We're on YouTube, so I can't say the football phrase, but you'll
Bad
know
man.
he's a bad man. No, he's not like he did anything wrong when he left. He played out his contract and went. But yeah, Pochettino going and lifting the Champions League would be quite nice actually.
Yeah, that as well. Yeah,
It's just
he's kind of
Neymar
hot.
mostly.
And Di Maria, surely.
I kind of understand Di Maria a little bit because of what happened. And another one we should probably say on the podcast, we'd be remiss if we didn't send our wishes to Chris Smalling, who some people broke into his house in Italy and held him at gunpoint.
Oh, really? I didn't hear
Oh,
about that.
yeah, it broke this morning, like time of recording. So
Oh,
uh, hopefully he's as well as can be, and his family as well. But yeah, so I kind of understand why Di Maria wanted to leave, but it was quite funny watching Ashley Young keep him outside. He gets his weekly mention.
A 45-year-old Ashley Young, just for some reason, is the best player in the league.
But we are dodging around the point here, Dara.
I don't know what you're talking about. I was
Let's get
enjoying that discussion, and you've
let's
just
get to
ruined it
it.
for me.
An Anfield European night, a rather tame Anfield European night, as
Yeah.
Liverpool faced Real Madrid, 3-1 down from the first leg. I'm just going to hand it over to you. What happened?
I think I don't know. I thought it was a pretty good game. I thought we played pretty well, but I think just all the damage from the first half was just sort of put us on the back foot from the start, obviously. But I thought we played. I won't say outplayed Real Madrid because we didn't score, but we were creating a lot of chances, and we just had to take one of the early ones, didn't you? Just didn't take anything in the end.
Yeah, as we watched the game, like Liverpool, they did play well, but it's that thing of you can play as well as you want. If you don't put the ball in the back of the net, it doesn't really matter, especially when you're 3-1 down.
Yeah,
I think,
I was not that I was like wasn't annoyed that we got knocked out or anything, but I kind of weirdly came out with a bit of optimism. I felt we're starting to put a string of good performances together, which I haven't seen in got the longest time. And I know this as a Liverpool, this shouldn't like be whoa kind of thing, but I think we've only lost like one in five with with 3 wins. And to me, the run we've been on lately, that just for some reason that fills me with loads of confidence.
Yeah, it was the 6 home losses in a row that you've kind of turned around now.
Loved it. Loved every minute.
Yeah, but we should go back to last week, the weekend. There's just gone so much football's happened. We should have really started last weekend, but you did play Villa. The revenge weekend was on for both Liverpool and United.
Yeah.
And
you came out on top. Yeah.
Both came out on top. Both had to go one down to do it, but as well. But you played well against Villa as well.
Did yeah. First half we sort of, again, I wouldn't say blew them away, but we were playing pretty good. Again, it felt like the Arsenal game felt like more of a sort of controlled game. We just sort of managed it pretty well and got over the line. But the Villa game felt like a proper Liverpool from 2 or 3 seasons ago, just creating chance after chance, which I hadn't seen in ages. And obviously we go behind. It's another dodgy one from Alisson. Not 100% sure what he's doing. But get back into the game, and your favourite player in the world, Trent Alexander-Arnold, pops up at the end, proving to everyone why he's the best defender in the league, scoring a goal.
That was the most over-the-top thing I'd ever seen. Like, it was a good goal, and he had a half-decent game. But he's a right back, everyone.
Not having the half-decent game. To be fair, I mean, I was slated Trent a lot on the last couple of months, but the last 2 games, I think and then it's only 2 games. But I feel he's been brilliant. Even the Arsenal game, he got 2 assists, didn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't want to be horrible to Arsenal, but like, come on. I think Nathaniel Klein would have got 3 assists.
Oh God.
But yeah, I mean, it was good to see. Well, it was good from a Liverpool perspective to see you guys creating things again. I think the Real Madrid game, it was just a matter of if you don't take your chances, it doesn't really matter.
Like that Salah one in the opening 5 minutes, he's literally 1-on-1. Like, those are the chances he takes all the time, and he just hits it straight at Courtois.
I think it kind of stresses the fact that this summer you need to sign an actual striker, like not
funny that
not a winger, not a false 9, not trying to convert Jota and people like that, or Firmino, who both said is more of a 10 than a striker. Like, because if you had like a competent striker on the pitch, and you don't need someone that's like Harry Kane or Lewandowski levels or Haaland or someone like that, just an actual striker.
I think I say this every week, but again, the last time Liverpool signed an out-and-out striker was Dominic Solanke in 2017.
He's now playing for Bournemouth in the Championship and having a decent season by all accounts.
Is he still there though? Well done.
Yeah, I think he started. Well done, lad.
Sorry, that's so sarcastic. I just remember was it Leicester last season when they just looked dead and buried, and then Solanke just like a prime Didier Drogba.
That was unbelievable. That game it's stuck in my head for some reason. But just watching Suyuncu after Bournemouth scored, just boot the guy in the back and get sent off, and then he has to miss all the games in the rest of the season. So they're playing with it was Wes Morgan, I think, and Ndidi was put to centre half, and then some youth player, because they had nobody left because everyone was injured, and then Suyuncu had to miss the rest of the season. He got straight redded. But from United's point of view, we beat Spurs, revenge. We didn't win 6-1, but 3-1 will do. And I don't think we really want to moan about VAR forever. Every other football podcast.
I want to hear your stance on this, because to me it's just a foul. I think it's more the fact that the referee hasn't given it at the time and that you've gone on to score. I think that's what the big deal is about. But it's a foul by McTominay.
I think so. I think the more like these days it is, and I think it's one of the things where you just got to look at football as it is now, that it is a foul. Like now it is, but when you actually watch it, I just think it's just so soft. But that's what's happened to football. You can't do anything. You can't even it's not as bad as the Nani one against Real Madrid in Fergie's last European season. We're just watching the ball goes to control it and happens to kick someone.
Could have killed the lad. Arbeloa, R.I.P.
Yeah, and I think it was bad refereeing, and then everyone got a bit heated, and that's where the Spurs goal came from, because everyone was just too angry. But the second half was just clinical.
Can I just say my favorite bit of the whole thing was how Son he's barely touched, and he's down for the entire length they take to make the decision.
I
And
think
you watch it back, and it's literally just
it's
like
literally
not even a
nothing.
scrape.
The
No.
thing is, things like that must happen all the time. So it's also like from corners, people must just be they're like pushing and poking each other, whatever, like all the time. But it's that theatrics that I think just annoys everyone. And it's one of the things where if a player for your team does it, you're like, brilliant. Like he saved us from scoring. I think if Song hadn't have reacted and they just carried on going, the goal
Yeah.
would have been given. They wouldn't have even
Yeah.
checked it. But it's
Exactly.
because he's gone down acting like he's been shot. And everyone says Song's such a nice guy. He's not.
Thanks,
Clearly.
Greg. Let's turn that up. Yep.
Clearly, he's a horrible man. And unless we sign him, I will not be changing my stance.
A horrible man, but a great son, says his father. But
Yeah, let's get on to fathers and sons.
What?
Before we get to your post game, there's a little bit of back and forth. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer said, if that was my son who'd done that, he wouldn't be getting dinner. Talking about Sol lying on the pitch, acting like he'd been Mike Tyson in the face. Jose, who's obviously he's in mid meltdown. His usual 3-season breaking a club has kind of accelerated at Spurs.
Yeah, loving it.
And they actually play tonight at time of recording, so you guys will know the result by the time you're watching this on how they got on against Everton. But yeah, Jose just goes on a weird ramble, really. Talks about how it's lucky that Son's father is nicer than Ollie. And it's like,
I love the taking of a phrase so literally.
yeah.
I love this, just deflecting any of the blame away from himself.
Yeah, and it is the Jose thing. One thing Jose does do is, until he's in breaking point, when he starts blaming all the players, before that point, he does kind of just say crazy things, so everyone's too busy talking about that to kind of talk about his side. Because all the back pages were about Jose's weird rant. No one was talking about the second half from Spurs being pretty atrocious. And like, it wasn't just Spurs being bad. We did play really well second half. I think Mason Greenwood's cross for the Cavani goal in particular.
Yeah, that's what I was going to bring up. Yeah,
was like first time cross on his left foot, swinging in towards the centre point, and Cavani's movement. He's it's the exact same thing that happened against Granada last night. Cavani, the way he just peels away from people. And
even your first goal, the build-up play was very nice. I know it comes off a save that's diverted straight into the path of Fred, but I thought the build-up play to it was really nice.
yeah, it was nice to see Fred scoring. After last podcast, I moaned that he never does anything. So clearly he watches or listens, and he wanted to prove me wrong. So well done, Fred. But no, it was a great win. It all but wraps up top 3, I think.
Surely. If you don't finish second,
well, Leicester aren't playing this weekend, and I know United have won so many trophies. Even in fairly recent times, we've been winning things, but there's still that part of me that's like,
not since Ollie took over though.
Yeah,
and that's tough. Yep.
Yeah, that's true.
What point are you going to make there?
I was going to say if we win this weekend against Burnley, which we will,
which is like a cup final in itself.
Yeah, well, we're 10 points clear of Leicester because Leicester aren't playing this weekend. Because Leicester have the FA Cup semi-final weekend.
Oh yeah.
Which we're not. Neither of our clubs are in it, so sorry if you're here for some previewing. Don't care. It's a Mickey Mouse Cup.
Unless you win it, in which case it is massive.
Unless you win it, in which case it's basically the Champions League.
I feel like the fact that we haven't won it, and it's coming up in 15 years this year. Actually, I haven't won the FA Cup. I just care less and less as the years go on.
Which one was it that? I think it was the League Cup that we had, like Rooney until one of his last seasons had never won it with us. Had never won it.
FA. It was FA Cup.
FA Cup. Like we just never won. No, he must have done because we beat Millwall in a final. Was that before Rooney joined?
That was 04, wasn't it? That's the season before he joined, I think. Yeah. Then he lit up. Was he still an Everton player at Euro 2004, or had you signed him at that point?
Oh God, I couldn't tell you. I think he was still an Everton player. I think it was that summer though, wasn't it?
Must have drove up the price tag. So yeah, it was that summer. Yeah.
Should have signed it beforehand. Got him even cheaper.
Should have. Yeah.
But so yeah, we don't care. Yeah, and then Europa League. I don't really have anything to say about it because other than that, I don't have to buy that Andres Pereira Granada jersey. Granada were obviously all out attack, especially after we scored early doors. But for the first time in a really long time, I watched the United side just cruise. Like there was no stress in that second half at all. And usually, for the last well, basically since Fergie left, it's been like even when we're winning, it feels like panic stations at times.
Yeah.
But we were just, it was just nothing. It was like a training exercise for a lot of guys. I think Van der Beek had a good second half, which I've never said before.
That phrase has not been uttered in nearly a year.
Yeah, exactly. But the biggest news of all, and I'm sure it made all the back pages in Ireland, is Phil Jones back in training.
Oh, he's working up on that testimonial. His parents will be thrilled.
We'll be thrilled.
What was it again? Was he offered one, or was there just discussion about it?
No, it'd been his 10 years at the club, so which is usually a testimonial.
Yeah.
And then he said, "Well, no one would come except my mum and dad."
Oh, I feel bad for it. From Henderson's coming up on this summer will be 10 years at the club for Henderson. I haven't heard any discussions about a testimonial actually.
I mean, he's like 28 or something. So to be fair to the guy,
Yeah.
like it's a bit early doors for that. Just have a giant one when he leaves with all his trophies.
A massive testimonial. Who would Phil Jones's testimonial even be against? Would it be Blackburn?
Maybe.
Like, has he ever had Gerrard's was against Olympiacos and Carragher's was against Everton? Because I don't really keep up to date with other teams' testimonials, if I'm being honest. But who would Phil Jones's be against?
I think Michael Carrick's was against West Ham. I've got no idea.
Yeah, I don't even remember Michael Carrick's.
I don't remember. I didn't watch it.
Did Giggs and Scholes, did they have testimonials?
Oh, they must have done. Like, I don't mean to be horrible to the guys, but I didn't watch it. I have no memories of that. The only charity game I've watched is I usually watch World 11 against Europe or whatever it is.
Is that
That
Soccer
giant
Aid?
charity? Yeah, Soccer Aid, that's it.
Oh right. I was thinking, is this like you playing FIFA, just randomizing?
No. And then I watched the United v Bayern, the treble one, the charity one.
Legends thing, yeah.
The one where all the Bayern players were just so out of shape. So Gary Neville and David Beckham just minced them the entire game.
I like things like that. It's nice seeing players like the thing I don't understand is Salif Jow plays for Liverpool and those things. What is Salif Jow doing playing for Liverpool legends alongside players like Steven Gerrard and I think I don't know, like McAteer. I think he always does stuff like that as well.
Oh, we have people like Jonathan Greening, come on for United.
Not
he had a decent career. It's funny when he came on in a charity game once, but he'd only just retired, so he was still in wicked shape. So he's just so much better than everyone else on the pitch.
Oh,
but who would your testimonial be?
Oh God. Who would my testimonial be against?
James McLean in a boxing match.
You really put me on the spot. I have no idea. You know what? We'll go Liverpool. Obviously, it'd be for Liverpool. We'll go against. We'll do Liverpool against Celtic because I'd love the atmosphere before the game.
You just want to hang out with Paul.
Yeah. I just want a new podcast co-host. Trying to soften him up.
What else have we got going on this week? You got anything for us?
Do you mean in the football or in general?
Just in general.
In general. Well, I hit you with this week. I thought I'd go with I've been known to be a bit deceptive at times. I don't know what I mean by that. So this week I've decided we'll do one truth, two lies. So Nathan, I'm going to tell you 3 stories. Only one of them is factually correct. And I've called this beautiful segment Gibbs Fibs.
For God's sake.
If you couldn't guess, I just tried to. I thought, what would rhyme with this? Fibs, yeah, that works. I don't think I've ever used the word fib in my life. But
laziest portmanteau you could think of.
It's the name first, the idea second. That's what we strive for on Plus Added Time. So, Nathan, I'm going to tell you 3 footballing stories. They all involve sports personalities, I guess, so to speak. And you just have to tell
Alright.
me which one is true. Do you want the first? Do you want story 1, 2, or 3 first?
I'm gonna have story 2 first.
Okay. Story 2. Standing at a urinal, Graham Lasso and Lee Dixon stood either side of me, and we got a picture in the toilets. So that's
What is
the
that?
title.
Okay. Is this about you?
Yeah.
No, you would have mentioned that by now. I'm not having that.
Do you want a bit of context? As opposed to
No.
you want no context behind that story. Just
Go
I
on
was
then.
at a
I feel like
urinal.
some
with-
listeners are gonna want context. I prefer to imagine it the way I'm deciding it's happening, which is that you were perving on them both, and they were too polite to say anything.
So yeah. So this was God, like October 2018. It was Liverpool Man City in the 2018-19 season. It was so the season before we bet them 4-3 in that amazing game. The season after was the 3-1, where again a great game. I just so happened to choose the one that was 0-0, the one where Riyad Mahrez missed the penalty already. Picked the right one. So we were. I was at the game, obviously, and I was in the toilets on the sort of the concourse area. I think that's what you call it. And the gate to my seat was where the press gate was as well. And
Which stadium's this at?
this is at Anfield.
I'm gonna try
I'm a plastic. I don't go to away games.
Okay.
And I just I was just there at the urinal. Two blokes either side of me. Luckily they were famous, or else this would be a very weird story. And I just went,
Like it's weird enough as it is.
I went, you're right, lads. Do you mind getting the picture? And at the time, it was before we won the league, so I made a joke about it being interesting seeing 2 Premier League winners at Anfield. Lee Dixon absolutely loved it.
Lee Dixon doesn't have any banter. This
and
story's full of holes.
and oh, he's got me. And that's it, really. Just got a picture in the toilet. I don't know why I didn't wait till we got out to the toilet.
If this turns out to be true, that's the bit that's going to annoy everybody. Is that you were one of the people that ask celebrities when they're peeing for pictures, and that's not on. And you don't strike me like that sort of boy. So I'm gonna call that a lie.
Okay. Well, do you want will be your first or third story next?
I'm gonna go third.
Third. I once saw Wigan Athletic flying Ryanair in Malaga Airport.
Ooh, what year is this? Because they nearly went bankrupt. So this sounds incredibly plausible.
This is relatively recently. It was 2017. I was on my summer holidays over in Malaga, like I said, like I tend to do from time to time. And yeah, they were there. There was players like Dan Byrne was still there, Nick Powell.
Nick Powell, United legend.
Yeah, Will Grigg before we moved to Sunderland, and Peter Reid. I remember because I looked at my granddad and I went, "Is that the Everton guy?" He's like, "Yeah, it's Peter Reid." I was like, "Oh yeah,
guy."
The Everton guy, Peter Reid, the Everton guy." And yeah, they were just there. I actually walked alongside your favorite player, Nathan, James Perch. He was there on his own with little friends walking towards the security gates. And I was thinking, will I say something to him? I was trying to think of like an obscure James Perch fact to impress him. But I literally could not fathom anything James Perch related.
Don't have any James Perch memories.
No, I think he was at Newcastle. That's as far back as that goes.
Okay. Get to see Nick Powell.
I'm a huge fan. Huge fan of Nick
Scored
Powell.
on his debut, then immediately got injured. Then came on for Juan Mata in the Champions League once under LVG, and then got sold.
Very, very eventful.
There was about 4 years between those two stories.
Was he still? Did he play in that? What's that game? The MK Dons game, wasn't it? Where Van Gaal just like sold loads of players following that Carling Cup game. Was he still there?
He might have played. Yeah, LVG just played like he played the proper reserve side. Like he was digging out players that obviously weren't ready, and just chucked like Joe Riley and people like that.
I feel like Danny Welbeck played in that game, and he was gone to Arsenal by the end of the transfer.
Then he went to Arsenal. Anderson played that game, and then he was gone by like the
Anderson.
8th of the week.
Anderson was still at United.
Yeah, he started. Apologies for my dog. He's making his weekly appearance. He's a huge Anderson fan.
Or not.
You know, it's weird. You just can't find it. Like, we record these podcasts at different times of day. And so far, we've not found a time of the day where my dog does not start barking about 20 minutes in. Like, it doesn't seem to matter.
Wants to get his thoughts on Anderson out.
Yeah, he's retired now.
That's fair. He's probably about 40 at this stage, isn't he?
Like 29. No, I don't know. But no, he went back to Brazil eventually because he went on loan to. Ooh, I can't remember who now. It's gone. He went on loan to someone for a season and then just never returned. But yeah, he played the whole game and he was terrible. Because Dele Alli was playing for MK Dons.
Was he? Oh yeah, he would have been, wouldn't he? Yeah. And I think Will Grigg, funny enough, I think he scores in that game, doesn't he?
Wow. Has there ever been another podcast that has mentioned Will Grigg twice?
Do you know the funny thing is, I think Will Grigg scores 2, and I think Benica Phobe scores 2
Yeah,
as well.
Benica Phobia was playing as well.
I've got that game saved on my hard drive.
You got a DVD of it. All right, what's the last story?
The final story is, after a 5-a-side game, I was told I was a, quote, special player by Giovanni Trapattoni.
No, you would have mentioned it by now. I'm not having that.
I was at a charity event in my local area. I was about 11 or 12. It was in the build-up to the 2012 European Championships. I was close to getting the call. So I was, what, 11?
That isn't a lie.
There's
17 footballers in Ireland.
So I was about 11 at the time, and there was it's in a big car park. It's like a big car park.
What was Trapattoni doing?
It was a charity event to build up to the European Championship.
What charity?
I've explained this.
What charity was it?
Oh, I don't know. I don't.
What
I was
charity
a kid.
got Trapattoni to the middle of
Trapattoni.
absolutely nowhere Ireland?
West of Mayo. It's this mountain called Croagh Patrick, which is famous for St. Patrick fasting up there for 40 days and 40 nights.
Allegedly.
And I take it with a pinch of salt. And I don't know. And it's this. It's a pretty big mountain. It's pretty tough to scale. If you're in good shape. But Trapattoni was about 80 at that point, and he was he was. I mean, he didn't. I think his translator would have said it, but he was coming. He was coming over, and he's going to climb the mountain. And I was like, not a hope in hell. Is this? No offense, I don't want to be ageist or anything, but no, it's Giovanni Trapattoni climbing the rake.
Trapattoni, that's so random.
But yeah, and Marco Tardelli was there as well. I tried to talk to him about his goal in the World Cup final. Just completely blanked me. Didn't know what I was talking about, which is fair. A lot of these stories involve me just being blanked by football personalities. Funny, I'm sensing the pattern.
But which one's true? That's the question.
One of them stories is true.
Thing is, I don't believe that second one just because I don't want to believe that you asked two men asked a urinal for a picture.
Wasn't even Lee Dixon.
Third one, we've spoken about you going to Malaga before. You didn't mention seeing Wigan.
Flying a Ryanair, fine.
And also, I don't know why you would have done it because I don't think that's an interesting part of your holiday at all.
No to Manchester.
He's at Stoke now, isn't he?
I could not tell you. I have not kept up with his career.
And that first one's so random, though. All right, I'm gonna go for the first one. It's true.
You're going for the first one. Well,
Yeah.
if I told you right now that all the stories are about 90% true, just one of them is completely bang on. Everything I've said is 100% factual. Does that sway your mind in any way?
Is it what you said? Is it the second one? But it wasn't actually Lee Dixon.
Oh, do you Lee Dixon? He went, yeah. Come over here. No. So which one do you want to go for, Mr. Nathan?
Maybe it's not the first one then, and you've just put Trapattoni into it. But it was actually
David Moyes.
Yeah, that would be a pretty good story. He's having a great season. All right, I'm gonna go for the second one.
You're gonna go for Lee Dixon, Graham Lasso, selfie in toilet.
No, I'm going for the first one. I'm sticking.
Okay. Well, Well, I tell you, the first one, there was no five-a-side game. I was never told I was a special player, but I got a picture and I had a bit of a chat with Trapattoni. His English wasn't great, but he was there. Marco Tardelli did technically blank me. I tried to talk to him and he just sort of kind of went away. Cheers, cheers, Marco. What are you doing now? You're not on a podcast with Nathan Greenaway, are you?
You're not.
The correct one is actually it's the Wigan Athletic story. Everything is completely true. They were flying Ryanair on the way home from some, I don't know, team bonding, I guess.
What were they in? They weren't in the. They were well out the Prem by then, weren't they?
Yeah, they were. I think they were League One at that point.
They're very skint though. Like they've just been sold, haven't they?
They
Is it them?
Could be.
Which one is it? Is that like a 29-year-old? Oh, that was Derby.
Is that Wayne Rooney you're thinking of?
No, Derby are now owned by like a 29-year-old billionaire.
Oh, well, that's
Did you not see that?
No, I
they got brand new owners.
That's nice. I kind of miss Wigan being in the Premier League. But yeah, do you know the weird thing about that story? I like how this is the weird thing and not the Graham Lasso thing I've talked about. So I walked past James Perch. He was like clobbered out in the Wigan gear, and I went on to Wikipedia when double checking like what year this was because I go to Malaga every year, and there is absolutely no mention of James Perch being a Wigan Athletic player at the time, and I'm just thinking, so why was
trial?
I don't know. Like he was a Wigan Athletic player for like 2 or 3 seasons, but I think he left in like 2015. So I don't know what he was doing.
Maybe he just hadn't looking for a new club and they let him train with him.
Maybe
it happens quite a lot.
I guess that would probably make sense, yeah. And the Lee Dixon Graham Lasso story. I mean, this one's probably the least true out of the lot. I just happened to be in the toilet at Anfield and I didn't even realize they were in there. And then I was just like sipping on a pint and I just saw them both walking out and I was like, okay, what's going on there?
Wait, you were sipping on a pint in the toilet?
No, in the concourse.
You'd left the toilet by then.
Yes, can I stress that? I was not drinking in the toilet. It was good. It was good. I was at that game. It was probably one of the worst matches I've ever been to. Up there with 0-0 with West Ham in April 2013. A Sam Allardyce masterclass on the day.
Another one. You always get Sam Allardyce.
Yeah, that's true. He's a great record at Anfield, I'm pretty sure.
Have you got to play West Brom again?
Ooh, I hope not. But I think we do.
I think you do.
I think we do. I don't think we've been to the Hawthorns.
One thing we do need to talk about because we need to decide what we're going to do for it. We are clattering towards United v Liverpool. It's like 2 weeks away or something.
Yeah, it was meant to be the 1st of May, but I think it's probably going to get changed to like the 2nd to be a Sunday game. That'd
be good. That'd be good if it was a Sunday game. I'd like that.
Yeah, good. My college assignments would just be finished.
Good.
Want to have a care in the world. Just finished college actually yesterday. Second semester finished. Well, yeah, uni to you. You bloody
British people.
Yeah, you
in different words. Oh well, I've got a new game for you, Darragh.
Ooh, exciting.
Yep, it's a stolen concept, obviously.
What?
But it's higher or lower.
Ooh, and this is very
all football related.
This is you ripping off Cammy Woe, which was a short-lived segment on this show, like most of them.
So I'm just going to give you one fact, and then I'm going to ask you a second question and ask you if you think the answer is higher or lower than the first one. Obviously, you know how this works. So let's start off with Messi has 663 goals for Barcelona. Is that higher or lower than the distance in miles from Old Trafford to the Allianz?
Good Lord. I'm trying to think of distance. Sorry, did you say miles or kilometers?
In miles.
Okay, well, I know from my house to Dublin is like 300 odd kilometers. So I feel like United to Bayern's it's a lot further than that. I'll go for wait, what was the question again? Which is higher? Yeah,
so Messi is 663 goals for Barcelona. Is that higher or lower than the distance from Old Trafford to the Allianz in miles?
Again, actually, Yeah, miles and kilometers are different things, actually.
Oh, I didn't even consider that you didn't use.
Yeah. You know what? I'll go with Messi. Why not?
Okay, you're wrong. It's 917 miles according to Google
I knew,
from Old
I knew
Trafford
it.
to the Allianz.
I knew that'd be higher. Why didn't I go for it? You just threw
So,
me with your bloody miles.
so Dani Alves is the most decorated player in terms of trophies in footballing history, apart from Pele, who obviously claims it's him. And with 41, is that higher or lower than the amount of free kicks David Beckham scored in his career?
Okay, well, straight away. I mean, I know Beckham was good at free kicks, but I don't know. That seems like a lot to me. So I feel I'd be entitled to go with Flanny Alves.
Dani Alves. You'd be wrong. According to Google, David Beckham scored 65 free
Oh,
kick goals in
I'm
his
not
career.
very good at this.
So those made sense. The next few go off the rails slightly.
That's what it is.
Christian Daly has 67 Scotland caps. Is that higher or lower than Arsenal legends Yaya Sanogo's career goals?
Um. Oh
Many
God.
Yaya Sanogo memories?
I just remember he started against Bayern Munich in the Champions League. That's one of my memories of Yaya Sanogo. I was thinking, like, how do a club like Arsenal have Yaya Sanogo starting? I think he scored like 5 in a game once, but it was in the what is that called? The Emirates Cup, I think they call it, is it?
Okay.
And his for his celebration, he was like running off to celebrate with the fans, and he just fell over. It was brilliant. Um, I don't have much faith in Yaya. I'm afraid I'm gonna go for your mate Christian Daly.
You'd be right too. Yaya Sanogo
Boo!
has 47 career goals. Bear in mind he's 28
God.
now and still down as a striker.
Yeah. God, is he like still employed?
Is he still employed?
He's
Yeah, I think he's playing somewhere in Belgium or something. But obviously, Dara, you know that you have 6 European trophies
Yeah.
as a Liverpool player. That's United, UEFA Champions League or equivalent. But is that more or less than Connor Wickham's league goals for Crystal Palace?
See, I can't remember Conor Wickham ever scoring for Crystal Palace. I feel like he hasn't scored a goal except for that run he had at Sunderland, where he scored like a few in a few games.
Yeah, and then
Um,
everyone was like, "Oh, maybe he should get an England cap."
he can probably get out of JD Sports. That's the closest he's getting to an England cap. Um, God, I'll have to back Liverpool. No way has Conor Wickham scored 7.
He hasn't. He scored 8.
Are you see?
Apparently, none
Conor
of
Wickham
them are
scored
within
8
the
goals.
last few seasons. I should stress that. But apparently, he has scored 8.
The fact that he's still a Premier League footballer, just
He's
you
still
know,
there.
I haven't given up on my dreams. If Conor Wickham can do it, so can I.
So, got a Manchester United one for you. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's win percentage as manager at the moment is, I've rounded up slightly, is 57%. But is that more or less than Ole himself played games for Mulder?
God, to be honest, I didn't know he played for Malta. Um,
That's where we signed him from.
I suppose that would make sense actually. Yeah. Um, oh God. Yeah, surely he would have had to play a good few games for United to buy him. I'd say. Yeah, I'll go for him playing for Malta.
You'd be wrong too. He played 54 games for Mulder.
Wow. I am not very good at this. You have found my Achilles heel.
So, do you know how many club games Steven Gerrard played?
Ooh, 600 odd,
Oh, sorry, no, this isn't club games. This is total career games.
700 odd.
862.
Ooh.
Is that more or less than the distance in meters from
God.
Anfield to Goodison Park?
Oh God, is it a kilometer to? Oh, because obviously, amount like I've been to Anfield Cup. I've never been to Goodison, and I've never been in Stanley Park either. Ooh, I feel it's closer than that. I'd say the distance between the two stadiums is no, wait, no, sorry. Steven Gerrard's goal tally or games tally is higher than the distance.
It's not. It
Oh
is
my God.
1,448 meters, which
Is
is
it?
less than a mile. Apparently, it's 0.9 miles to drive, according to Google.
What if you're doing as the crow flies?
Probably closer, but I didn't.
That's the the passion and dedication we put into this craft.
Well, Google didn't have a crow option. So...
My
And
new
the last one,
favorite simulator.
as we build up in a couple of weeks' time, Liverpool will face United for the 207th time. So
Ooh.
at the minute, there have been 206 Liverpool v United games. Is that more or less than Merseyside derbies?
Less, straight away, less.
You're
I'm
right.
almost
It's
certain.
straight in there. There's 236
Yeah.
Merseyside derbies.
I feel like the 200th Merseyside derby was in like 2006, 7, something like that. So that was
That was a good ending. I don't know how many you got right.
not a lot.
I think you
being
actually
honest.
you got the Christian Daly one right.
Yeah,
So
I think it's impressive
you
the
got
fact that I got
3.
so many wrong.
3 out of 7,
Just
I believe.
shows how bad my probability I should be getting half of them. I don't even think I got half. Did I?
Really, your homework for the week is to learn conversions from kilometers to miles.
That's the thing. And distance can only be judged via cars.
Google. Yeah, apparently. There you go.
That was impressive. That was tough. It was surprisingly tough.
Well, maybe I'll bring it back next week.
Please don't.
Maybe. I don't think a lot is happening this week. Who are Liverpool playing this weekend?
We're playing the Monday night. We don't play a lot of Monday night
Oh,
football.
you're playing Leeds.
In Leeds.
Oh, we should get on to the Leeds game momentarily. But before we do kind of our preview for the weekend, let's touch on something that Paul Pogba had to say. He did an interview with Sky, and the question came up after the Spurs game about the difference between Ollie and Jose as managers. And the Frenchman had this to say. He said, "Once I had a great relationship with Mourinho. Everybody saw that. And the next day, you don't know what happened. That's the strange thing with Mourinho. And I cannot explain it to you because even I don't know." And then that got into the difference between the way Ollie and Jose treat people now. And he had this to say about players that kind of aren't in the starting lineup. He said maybe Ollie wouldn't pick them, but it's not like he puts them out on the side like they don't even exist anymore. That's the difference between Mourinho and Ollie. So there's a few things in there. He kind of talked about, because the interviewer, whose name I can't remember, but she was asking some good questions. He was kind of talking about how he's playing well now because he thinks Ollie is basically communicates with the people, whereas with all the players, whereas Jose wouldn't. He would only talk. He was kind of alluding to the fact that he would only talk to the people that he wanted to talk to.
And can I just say as well, just I really like how candid and or honest he's being right there. Like most players wouldn't come out and say anything like that. And the fact that he's been that openly honest about it, I find I sort of applaud him for that.
Yeah, and he said he kind of wrapped up the Jose part. He wasn't like dishing all the dirt or anything like that. But he did say this at the end. He said, "I'm sure Mourinho said something that made people speak. That's what he does. We got the result that we wanted. Ollie knows it, and we enjoyed that moment. We know Mourinho and what he likes. We don't need this. We just focus on us. We won the game. He lost the game, and he doesn't want to speak about the game." So there we go. I think Paul's kind of doing a lot of interviews at the minute because he's just signed that Amazon deal to do a documentary about him. And there's a few sports people that have also signed on to do that. I know Serena Williams, if you're into your tennis, she's doing a documentary with Amazon as well. So, which will be fun. But like after the Spurs game, it kind of feels like this might be the end of Jose at Spurs. And they do play Everton tonight, so we don't have all the context of what he's done kind of post game. But what do you make of kind of the things Pogba was saying?
I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm just not surprised in the slightest. It's kind of what we've all, I think, thought for the last 2 years, but we haven't had it like definitively. And I mean, I know there's two sides to every argument in that, but I think just from what we've seen, it just doesn't look good. What was remember the training incident between Pogba and Mourinho? What was that over again? What game was that after?
I don't remember now, but I remember it as like in training, like Jose was just and Paul were just going back and forth at each other and then just had a row.
And Pogba looks like perplexed that he's because like Mourinho instigates it. It's not Pogba.
Yeah.
It's weird. I feel like it is. It's the beginning of the end for Mourinho, isn't it? If he doesn't win in that final like in City, he has nothing to hang on to.
Yeah, and like you could kind of just see, because obviously with Pogba, there's a lot of stuff as well with his agent. But it's not just him. It's like we all know what Jose, kind of the way he treated Luke Shaw, and now all of a sudden, a couple seasons later, Luke Shaw is like having one of the best seasons. Like certainly this season, in isolation, he's been one of the best left backs in the Premier League.
Probably getting the team of the season this season. I think that could be fair.
Yeah, I can't think of like any other left back who's having as good a season as Luke Shaw. Like just in isolation of this season, like he's doing wonderful things now, and so it's kind of the pair of them. And Fred is having a decent season, even though I've questioned his involvement. Like he's not the most creative midfielder, but he's still playing well. And he was a Jose signing.
Yeah. He was expensive, wasn't he? Was he like 50 odd?
I think he was 50 million quid, I think.
Well, he was from Shakhtar, wasn't he? Like every Brazilian ever.
Like every Brazilian, yeah.
For some reason, they just stop off in Ukraine for a year.
They're either signed from Corinthians, Portugal, or Shakhtar. That's it. It's the only place you can find Brazilians.
And at some point, they've played for all three, sometimes at the same time.
Yeah, but I agree. I think Jose's going to struggle unless he wins the Milk Cup. He's going to struggle to justify him staying at the club.
The only thing for Spurs is once they get rid of Mourinho, like they sort of, it kind of felt like a weird appointment at the time, didn't it? And I nearly feel they should just back him in a way. I mean, I know it could go horribly wrong, but if they're losing Kane this summer, which they're, like, if they don't have Mourinho, I mean, or you could just say, go for a refresh, get rid of Mourinho, get someone in, and just start a new project. I'm interested to see what Mourinho could do over a few seasons. Probably get them worse, to be honest, but give it a go.
Yeah. I saw Alan Shearer say this week, he did an interview for The Athletic, and he was saying, like, if Harry Kane is going to leave Spurs, he thinks it has to be this summer.
Yeah. To be honest, even the fact that he's still there, I find it amazing.
Yeah, and he obviously loves Spurs, but like I'd love it if we can't get, like, Haaland he's so young. Like, I think that's the big advantage he has over Kane in terms of a centre forward signing, even though they're going to cost similar money. Yeah. Because I think Kane's like 27 or 28, which isn't exactly old. Even though if you watch the Bayern Munich game, when David Alaba, who is also 28, took a free kick, the commentator said he's really rolling back the years with that one.
28
year old David Alaba being put out to pasture. But if that deal's not going to happen, we obviously are in the market for a centre forward potentially. I'd love it to be Harry Kane, but I don't think Levy would sell to a Premier League club.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Do you reckon if he moves, it would be to a Premier League team?
No, I think if he moves, I just don't see Daniel Levy selling. Like, I think for a club outside of the Premier League, Kane would probably cost about 120 million. For a club in the Premier League, I reckon probably 180. And that's just Daniel Levy he's a good businessman. Obviously, he's done well for Spurs in terms of business. Like, he's kept them going on a much smaller budget than the people that they've in recent seasons have been competing with.
Yeah, sort of feels like the end of I mean, again, I know they didn't really do anything, but it feels like the end of an era at Spurs in a way, doesn't it? They were like building for so long, and it didn't really go anywhere in the end.
I think they've made some good signings. Like Hojbjerg, apparently on statistically, his like build-up play, he's got some of the best stats in the league. But then, like, Dele Alli's fallen off a cliff. He's kind of become
breaking news.
Yeah, like. And then they got players like Lamella is the last one standing from that Bale money, and now Bale's back and he doesn't look interested. And it's kind of like it is like when Jose was at United. You don't know how much of it is the players not being good enough or Jose being Jose. Because when he does let Spurs play, which is usually when they're already two down, they suddenly start creating so much.
Funny that.
And it's a miracle. Like Harry Kane has over 20 goals this season still,
And he probably has like 30 assists on top of that.
all of which are to Song.
Yeah, I remember that at the start of the season where they like every single game it was a goal and an assist for Kane.
Yeah, and it's just weird what's happened to Jose because he's one of the best managers arguably ever. But
And I
the
don't
end
know
of his
how.
career is atrocious.
Yeah, I don't know how it's gone so bad.
Well, it's always that third season thing. He gets third season syndrome. But it's at all of his clubs. It's at Madrid. He left in the third season. He got sacked. Chelsea both times the third
Yeah,
season. United the third season. Into Milan.
and like it's clearly his fault. Like you can't like blame like if it was a one-off, you think fair, but it happens every single time.
It's almost like he just can't build a team. Like he doesn't have the patience for it. Maybe.
Pretty much.
Like if the team isn't up to stuff immediately, like his Chelsea side were, or his original Chelsea side and his second Chelsea side, like they were up to stuff immediately, and then when he suddenly had to build a new side because players were getting older or players were leaving, he just collapses. He just can't do it. He'd be rubbish at career mode.
I mean, that original Chelsea team, that was the proper Abramovich would just go out and just buy everyone, wasn't it? That summer 2004, I think, and even 2014, he what did he do? He went onside Fabregas and Diego Costa, which essentially just won them the league on its own. It was obvious anyone saw it a mile off, and he just, I don't know, took over at United, won a few trophies, but it got worse and worse. He always leaves clubs worse than he gets them with originally.
Yeah, in the second season, like we got second, and it's still nothing felt that rosy still. Like there was always drama for some reason. Whereas now, if we're comparing it to now under Ollie, like you're deceptively optimistic in the way that we've been playing recently because we're not conceding a load of goals like we were at the start of the season. That's tightened up. We're kind of free scoring. We're not scoring as much as we were kind of in the middle of the season, but we're still scoring every single game. And
You're just not losing, which is
yeah, we
which is a
don't.
good thing to do in football.
Yeah, we just don't lose, and like
Yeah.
that's why we're there. We've got Roma next in the Europa League, and I still think if we aren't winning that,
Yeah.
it's an incredible disappointment looking at the
Definitely.
teams that are left. But yeah, screw you, Spurs. Imagine if they get top four still.
Like I can't even fathom it.
Are they
In
above
the
you?
words of Vince McMahon, no chance in hell. I don't think so. They're pretty close to us. No, we're 3 points ahead, level on games.
So you really, what's the better result for you tonight between Everton and Spurs? I
Uh,
guess
it's,
guessing the
it's
draw would be the most favourable thing.
it's got to be a draw, doesn't it? Yeah. And Everton, amazingly, they looked like they were, even like a few weeks ago, they looked like they were going to finish above us. They had these two games in hand. Even if they win tonight, they're still behind us.
They haven't won in
So
5 or something, haven't they?
nice to see that. Just nice to see them lads doing
Yeah,
well.
they've tailed off massively, haven't they?
Yep.
It's looking like it's going to be top 4 is going to be City, us, and then 2 of Leicester, Chelsea, or you.
I'm looking at the table now, and I actually can't work out how we're only 4 points behind Leicester. I don't know how that's happened.
Because
Leicester,
they're really mixed results again. It's the
because
same as last season.
they've got Brendan Rodgers in charge. Not
Brendan
my
Rodgers,
views, just what people want to hear.
outside of like obviously his time at Celtic, he was fine, but like his Liverpool side and his Leicester side just can't finish seasons.
Yeah, like it's all well and good blaming Gerrard for us not winning the league in 13-14, but we went away to Hull City that season and lost 3-1. We lost 3-1 to Hull City, who did they? No, they didn't get relegated, but I think Steve Bruce was in charge at the time.
Oh God,
Yeah,
that's
like
another side.
terrible.
They drew with Spurs and then they beat Burnley at the weekend. Like
What I loved is he brought St. Maximin off the bench, and this was being heralded as like one of the great managerial decisions. He's got a gem Where's he pulled this one from? It's almost like he's the best player in the team. It was class. I love Alonso Maximin. I'd nearly consider getting an Alonso Maximin jersey, but the Newcastle jerseys are just so boring.
They are really boring. Did you see? He's a delight on Twitter. Did you see
I've seen stuff like that before.
his response to someone who called him out as being rubbish, and he sent him that picture of a bin with a microphone in it.
I love it. I love just how like effortless he looks in the ball. He's a beautiful, beautiful footballer.
His only downside, he's quite young still, but he's quite frustrating because it's like that Adama Traore thing of you watched him play and you're like, oh my god, this guy must be a world beater, and then you're like, oh, he's not scored for 3 years.
This guy's the best player in the world. Yeah, but why is he in Newcastle? Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, let's not throw the best player in the world thing out there unless we mention Jesse Lingard again.
He's just,
my god, 2 goals again. Was it 2 goals against Leicester?
Wasn't good enough to get a single minute at Manchester United. Suddenly the best player in the league.
I still don't. I know on his form he'd be playing. Like he'd probably be coming off the bench for United, maybe, because he's been playing 10 for West Ham.
Yeah.
So he's not unseating Bruno, is he?
He's not getting out Bruno, no. I'm afraid.
Look how Bruno got an assist against Spurs, and then he didn't score or assist last night. But there was loads of things coming up with people like, oh, Bruno's really in the middle of a dip at the moment. So leave the guy alone. He's got like 30 odd goals and assists this season.
I love how people just forget like the 2 games before you signed Bruno. I remember you lost to Burnley at home, didn't you? And then you went to Anfield, and then I think he signed him. Around about that, like maybe like a week after that, and then ever since then you've just completely turned.
Yeah, and it was yeah, I like how we start talking about other clubs and it immediately comes back to United or Liverpool every time.
I don't know how I do. I don't know how I managed to get Bruno Fernandes, brought it straight back to the Mo Salah game.
As I mentioned, Jesse Lingard, who, my goodness me, he needs to go. I hope for him, they work out a deal and he gets to stay at West Ham. Like, I'm not saying I don't want him at United, but he's starting, he's playing well.
What's his price tag be?
Apparently they're on around that, because I think he's going into the last year of his contract. Yeah, he must be, because I know we activated like the extension clause in it before he went out on loan. But yeah, so I reckon 15-20 million quid maybe, like being realistic in this market.
Be a bargain if West Ham could get him. Like if they could.
Well, he's 20. He's 28 now. like every player apparently. But they're also on about like the rumor mill is, so this probably isn't true, is that like we would just negotiate to make him part of any Declan Rice deal.
I've seen that, right? Yeah.
But who knows what's happening at the minute? Apparently we're just in the market for a centre half in a minute. So. Because there's that Rafael Varane thing. Because apparently he's refused an extension at Madrid. Okay. So it could be an awful summer for Madrid because Ramos still hasn't signed a new deal. Bale's going to be going back.
Zidane just, oh no.
Yeah, Zidane just leaves again.
Incredible.
Yeah, we didn't really get around to the City Leeds game, but it was mad. One of those games you're going to kind of be like, how on earth did Leeds pull that off? 10 men for like 70 minutes. Yeah. But City backed it up by cruising kind of past Dortmund. So they need to lose another 3 so that we can win the league. It's not going to happen.
Sure. I think you told me in the week, if you win your game in hand, you're only like 8 points off City, which I can't work out how that's happened.
Because everyone just thinks that City have gone unbeaten this season and that we've been awful. Whereas it's actually like we were rubbish, City were rubbish for a bit, and now we're both not rubbish, but we were rubbish for longer than them.
Which games did you lose? So you lost to Sheffield United, Tottenham. Who else did you lose against? I can't even remember.
No idea. We drew 3-0 with Everton.
Did you lose like at home at the very start of the season against like Palace? Did you lose that game?
We lost a couple. It's been so. The season's felt like it's about 3 years long, but I think we did lose to Palace. Who else did we lose to? Oh,
you just don't lose. You just don't lose football matches.
People are screaming it at us. If they screamed a little louder, I'd be able to hear them. No, it's not coming through. I've got no idea, to be honest, which is weird. I know we drew with Everton because that was annoying.
Drew with Leicester, didn't you?
Did we? Won the first? No, we beat Leicester.
Did you draw away? Did you draw us? Did you win that game?
No idea.
God.
We lost to Arsenal. We lost in the
Oh,
we
yes,
lost to
yes,
Arsenal and then
yes.
we drew with Arsenal in the second one.
Oh my God.
We drew with you lot and then beat
Yeah.
you like 2 minutes later in a different match.
Yeah. Oh, I loved that week of plus at a time when we had to do that
Oh god, that was
bonus
so
episode.
absolutely annoying.
Oh my God.
That's why we're never doing that again. Because if we do it, it's gonna be 0-0 again. We drew with Chelsea. Both games we drew with Chelsea. No, we beat Chelsea in the second one.
Did you? I thought it was 2-0.
Who did we beat? Because there was that. Oh no, we beat City. We drew with City, then beat City in the second one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was 2-0 against Chelsea. Oh God. Since we, I think we're gonna throw it to Darragh's trivia for the week before we just
Why not?
attempt to remember other things that have
Yeah,
happened.
I think I wouldn't go through Liverpool's defeats, but I'm afraid we'd be here for another hour and a half. Yeah, well, at the start of the show, we were talking about the Liverpool Real Madrid game where, we didn't necessarily dominate. Actually, this doesn't really tie in that much. I was looking up teams just dominating matches. So I was looking up the records around possession because there's something about possession. Am I even saying that right? Possession. There we go. Because I saw a stat in I think it was the Man City game. I think it was the City Leeds match where it was like in the last 5 minutes and it was literally 100% to Man City, which I had never before seen in my life. So it got me thinking, what's like the record for most possession in a match? If you were to guess the percentage, what would you think it is? Because it is high, but it's not as high as I would have necessarily thought.
Because I know Celtic against Barcelona.
That was
When
89.
Celtic went, yeah, they had 11% possession.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's going to be a record because I feel like I would have seen it because everyone replays that match so much.
Yeah.
But I'm only going to say it's a little bit higher than that. So I'm going to say the record is about 91%.
To be fair, I thought it would have been like 89, 11, that sort of territory. It's only 83.
Well, that can't be the record.
83.
What, in the Premier League?
In the Premier League, yeah.
Oh, I thought you just meant overall.
Oh, did I not say that?
Oh, no.
Oh.
Okay. So I was thinking, only 83. Who's that for? Is that City?
Yeah, Manchester City, 22nd of April 2018, during the Centurion season, 5-0 against Swansea City.
That was a bad Swansea City side as well.
83%. A funny thing about that is Swansea team, I think it was like fourth on the list. From the same season, Swansea away at Huddersfield. Huddersfield had 82% of the ball against Swansea. But to be fair, Swansea did have Jordan Ayew got sent off after 11 minutes. They had 82% possession. They had 79 minutes with 11v10. The game finished 0-0. So that must have been an absolute barnstormer.
God, that must have been the most boring game of all time.
Liverpool are the only team to feature in the top 10 list that actually lost the game. Cheers, lads. We lost 2-0 away at Burnley in August 2016, the game where I think Sam Vokes and Andre Gray scored.
Yeah.
We had 80%, I think. We lost 2-0. Love that. But yeah, 5 of the top 10, unsurprisingly, are Man City. 4 of them under Pep. And the other one, do you want to guess what the other City game that wasn't under Pep? It's obviously an obvious one. It's not like I don't know, Norwich away.
So it's another really obvious one.
It's a very well known match.
Oh, it's not the FA Cup final, is it?
No, again, Premier League.
Oh, okay. So I've got no idea.
It's the Aguero versus Queen's Park Rangers game.
Oh, yeah.
Which I suppose makes sense because they were down to 10 men as well. Although that was a bit later in the game.
because Joey Barton got sent off.
Yeah, so 83% in the Premier League, nowhere near as high as I thought it would be. I thought it'd be like at least. I thought City would have dominated like an 87%.
I think, no, there's too many decent sides for that to happen. Like even Sheffield United, who have had a torrid season, they're not like an awful side. Like
they just lose by like 1 goal every week, it seems, except for obviously recently. But there was a period I think where they just lost like all their matches by 1 goal, and it's like they're not terrible, but they're just not very good.
They're just not very good. Hey, what about West Brom? 2 wins in a row.
Love it. Big Sam, getting on the Big Sam bandwagon. Because I think I've said it before. I actually strangely really like Big Sam. And I kind of like when he does well. I don't know why.
I want him to do well because I do want Newcastle to go down.
Yeah.
Just because I think they
I'm
need
so desperate.
It would be so good if that could happen because I think then Ashley would actually sell and someone could actually try and do something with this club.
Do you reckon if they were in the Championship, you know, obviously the Premier League and the EFL are two separate sort of entities. Do you reckon it would be easier for Ashley to like sell the club if they were to get relegated? That could be like a conspiracy theory.
I think it depends who it is because
I'm
not
talking the ones from before.
I don't think we'll get into it. This is the wrong podcast to get into why I don't really think they should be allowed to buy the club. But I don't think a man who is accused of some very horrendous things should be allowed to buy a big football club. So hopefully the EFL wouldn't just bow to money.
Yeah, I always wonder about that. But
I mean, with the EFL's history of letting just absolute scumbags own clubs, it's probably they probably just would let it happen. They wouldn't even check. They'd just be like, "Who wants to buy it? I don't know who that is. Just let them do it."
Yeah, like Blackpool, Leighton Orient.
Yeah. Do they have money? Yeah. Okay, they pass. They pass the test.
Yep.
They say they have money.
Who was the guy at Man City before Sheikh Mansour? Was like Taxon Sinamatra or something like that. He was some like politician who'd been like who didn't have a great track record, and then all of a sudden he went missing. I don't know enough about it to go into it.
As bad as the guy who used to own Blackpool, like Oystons or whatever they were.
Yes,
they were absolute losers. Who just they actually just didn't have any money or something.
I think the owner of Blackpool, the season they were in the Premier League, he was like the highest earning owner in the league because he gave himself a bonus for Blackpool reaching the Premier League, which you love to see.
Absolute idiot. But yeah, that was the trivia for the week.
Yeah. Another weird one I'll throw in just to
go for
sort of get back to trivia is Liverpool are the only team in Premier League history, well, since Opta stats began in 2003, so you have to caveat everything, where they did not let the opposition have a touch in their box in a match. Liverpool, I think it was 5-0 against Crystal Palace during the restart. Good game.
There's a good one because I think we mentioned it last week, but we have that game against Norwich where Norwich just didn't have a shot, like at all. So it's quite funny that they must have been getting touches in the box and just not shooting.
Yeah, the fact that like opposition team not getting a touch in the box, not even like a long punt up the pitch that someone's ran onto and held up or something.
It's quite random. But there's been some awful attacking recently as well. So it's not that unrealistic.
That's a good point. Yeah,
it's been just some dreadful play. But yeah, we're gonna love you and leave you for this week. Thank you very much for listening or watching. If you're on YouTube, United are going to win this weekend. Hopefully Liverpool don't. And then let's hope. Would you rather Chelsea won the FA Cup to try and stop City getting a quadruple?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Same. So go on Chelsea. And I want Leicester to carry on losing, so go on Southampton as well. Yeah,
I kind of like getting one over Brendan Rodgers. Like I like Brendan Rodgers, but I don't want to see him doing better than us.
No, I'd like or alternative universe, City reach the final again, but Southampton win the final in the exact same way that Wigan won the FA Cup.
They signed Ben Watson on a free transfer. Yeah.
No, they just have like. It can't be Bednar X. If he scores, they're going to lose. So whoever the other guy is, Verstat, whatever his name is.
Actually, do you want to know another just weird fact that just came to my head as soon as you said that?
Go on in.
So James Milner had the record for ages for when he scores, the team always wins. For some reason, again, I could be wrong, but for some reason, I think Jack Cork, of all players, has like the highest one of them at the minute.
It's because he scored once and then they won.
Yeah.
They scored. He scored once. They won 1-0.
I remember that was like a talking point in like a game versus Swansea, probably from that same 17-18 season where they just were not touching the ball. They had Renato Sanchez that season actually. It was a poor.
And he passed to an advertising board.
That was the
highlight.
Thought
it was a player.
That was the highlight of the whole season. Yeah.
It's like us changing the colours of our seat covers at the stadium. Did you see that?
No, what was that?
We had our big red seat covers around our stadium at the minute, 'cause obviously no fans are allowed in. But we changed them to being black. And Ollie said, "Oh, somebody suggested it as an idea to improve home form because he thought the players might be like blending into the red background."
Oh God, Liverpool used to play with red nets, as I'm sure you might remember,
Oh God,
and
that's horrendous.
the players complained that the red of the net used to blend into the cop behind it, so they changed them to white for the 2016-17
I
season.
mean, it does make sense. It's like that thing where Fergie made us change our kit at half time because everyone kept complaining that that
I love
horrendous
that.
kit was
I
blending
still
in.
can't believe that you were like allowed to do that. Like that seems very weird, doesn't it? You feel there'd be a law,
I bet
some
there's
sort
a
of rule
rule
against it.
against it now. There
Yeah.
probably is since. It's probably one of those things that happened and because they were like, well, there's no rule against this. And they were like, well, there is tomorrow.
Anyway, we got off topic here.
Yeah, we were trying to end the podcast. So
Yeah.
thank you very much for listening, guys. Head over to Project Dits. That's at Project DITS, where you can find all the affiliated podcasts over there. You can listen to my other comedy scripted podcast, That Ain't Sport, at That Ain't Sport on Twitter, or That Ain't Sport wherever you get your podcasts. There's a new episode going up finally next week. It's been a bit tough with everything kind of reopening to get schedules together, but the podcast is coming out next week now. And yeah, you can find me on Rogue Opinions Weekly, talking about movies and TVs and stuff at Rogue_Opinion. Dara, what have you got going on?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Gibbons_Darragh, or you can follow the podcast on Instagram at plus added time, all one word.
That's right, guys. We've got an Instagram.
We are branching.
We are branching. But thank you very much for listening, guys. Enjoy the weekend's football, and we'll speak to you again soon. Bye.